for it.
Anyway, it appears that we are recording, Shane McCarthy. We did it.
I'm so proud of us.
After nearly a month of back and forth and pondering, it appears that we have actually decided to record a podcast. We'll see how this goes. This is our maiden voyage.
I'm nervous about it, but very excited. Looking forward to it. But,
Grappling Dummies podcast, episode 1. Definitely
the poorest
a new
of audio quality, I would say.
Poor audio quality, but everyone starts somewhere. I don't even listen to podcasts, which is the funny thing about this.
That's hilarious. I live and die off a podcast.
So that makes one of us.
It saves my morning commute. My hour-and-a-half commute every single day is saved by various Joe Rogan. Like every podcast you think a guy who sounds like me would listen to. Like Joe Rogan, Jocko, all those podcasts, The Fighter and the Kid.
It's not that I've never listened to a podcast. Like, I will listen to Joe Rogan's podcast if there's someone on it that I really like. But I don't know. I lose track of it. Like, I'll be listening to it for 15 minutes, and then I'll forget the people are talking in the background, and then it's over for me. It's over for me. But you know what? Hopefully people don't feel that way about the sound of my voice.
Dude, you'd be surprised. I'm going to listen to myself on this and be like, I wish I wasn't myself anymore. So
yeah, no, you're going to listen to yourself talk and be like, I wish I was dead, or I just didn't have a voice anymore. But it's all good.
All right, man. Well, kick us off. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, what are we talking about? Let's give everyone a rundown on us. I am Dylan Irving. You are Shane McCarthy.
I'm Shane McCarthy. Hi.
Give me your 2-second jiu-jitsu background. Since this is the Grappling Dummies podcast, we might as well explain what it is we're here to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. So, little quick blurb on me. I started training MMA at an MMA gym to no longer be fat. Since I was like pushing 400 pounds, like I almost had an episode of my 600-pound obese life featured. I decided it was time to get in shape, so I went to this local MMA gym that my buddy was training at. Got my blue belt there. Then that instructor decided to move, and I was like, "Oh, cool! Need another jiu-jitsu instructor." So I hopped over to another gym, where I was at for a while, which is where you and I met, over in like Central Jersey. But then after a while, that school wound up no longer offering jiu-jitsu. And now I'm currently at Princeton Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Emily Kwok and Art Kynes, where I am a brown belt, children's instructor, also adult class instructor, also all-around fan of teaching. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Very nice. I have not trained at 3 gyms. I haven't realized you've had that much of a journey.
Dude, I'm like the gym hopper, creanche, whatever you want to call. Every belt I've gotten from a different instructor.
I have received my blue and purple belts under the same coach.
Must be nice.
Been at Maxercise / Hibero Jiu-Jitsu Philadelphia for 3.5 years. Been doing that, and then so while I've been injured, I was like, what other jiu-jitsu things can I do besides sit around and not do anything? So I threw it out there on Instagram. I was like, who wants to start a podcast? And immediately, Shane, you were like, me, let's do this.
Yes.
And so there it was born, Grappling Dummies podcast. I like the name Grappling Dummies podcast, which, by the way, if you hear this, somehow, if more than like 3 people listen to this and you have a podcast named Grappling Dummies, please let me know, because I did a Google search, admittedly not a very thorough one, but I did look on Google to see if anyone had used the name prior to this, and I couldn't find one. But if I missed you, fine, but also no one's going to listen to this. That's, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but
we'll change names as needed.
Yeah, we'll change. Yeah, exactly. I think it's a good name for a podcast, though, because it's like, if you look up Grappling Dummies, like, I Googled Grappling Dummies podcast, and, like, all the things that come up are, like, are Grappling Dummies useful? Grappling Dummies are a useless expensive waste of money. Here's some drills that I tried to do with the useless grappling dummy in the corner of our mat room, which I think perfectly sums up the idea of a grappling dummy, is that it's just this thing that exists in every jiu-jitsu gym and mat room. And no one really knows what to do with it, but it's always there. It's kind of just, it feels like it needs to be there, but no one ever uses it, nor do they know like how to use it. You could like maybe practice arm bars on it, but its arms are like the shape of stop signs. Like they're like these enormous tubes. Like they're not real arms.
Yeah, and you ever see like a technique video on YouTube or Instagram with like using a grappling dummy, and I'm like, ugh, immediate scroll past. Scroll past.
There's really one drill I think you can do on it. You can kind of do a little cardio thing where you switch like between knee on bellies.
That's really it.
That's really it. Like, but you could also use just a boxing bag for it. You can just use like a heavy bag for it.
Yeah.
You could use literally anything. When I see it,
but using the grappling dummy.
Yes. They kind of look like big like leather mermaids. You know what I mean? They have this very like tube body shape. Like they're not even built like real people, which is the real frustrating part.
You can do suplex drills with them.
That's the only thing I've ever done with them. Yeah. I was trying to learn a little bit more Greco-Roman style throws, and of course this is like the modern way of learning wrestling and jiu-jitsu. It's like, yeah, I saw this thing on Instagram, man, let me try this on you. I saw this highly convoluted technique on Instagram, let me do this on you real quick. And so I was watching Kyle Dake videos, who, if you're not aware, is a wrestler for the United States Olympic team, and he was just hurling people around, and I was like, I'm going to try this on the grappling dummy, and I like tweaked my back,
there's not
smacked my neck against the mat.
Yeah,
I was like, anyone want to do this with me?
I mean, there's not that many people volunteering to be like, hey, I'll let you throw me around like Kyle Dake. Totally, hands up, hands ready for that.
Yeah,
let's drill this out. Anytime it comes for takedown drilling, it's like, all right, cool. Like, we'll do the one, then you get up, you fix your belt, you like do that weird walk around where you walk away, and then turn around and come back to them as if saying, I'm ready to throw you again.
Yep.
But not like it's the worst.
We do a ton of judo at my school, and I hate getting thrown. Like I grew up wrestling, and so we did takedown drills constantly because that's obviously like a huge part of wrestling. There's something about getting thrown that I hate way more. I don't know what it is.
I hate the judo throwing, like the over the shoulder, like you could like single leg me, double leg me, blast double leg me, fine. But when you're doing like say Nagi, and I'm getting like launched.
Yeah,
you know,
you're like aerial. You can break fall correctly to take a judo fall correctly, but it's not like a wrestling takedown where you can like get yourself to the mat on your terms. Even if you're getting blasted, you're at least like, okay, I can get to the mat on my terms. If someone that really knows how to judo throw you like wants to chuck you, you are getting thrown so hard. Like you are getting unbelievably thrown.
This is generally the worst. No matter how solid your break falls are, it never takes the sting away. It's when I was training at the University of Jiu-Jitsu with the Hibera. That was the most beautiful mat I've ever been thrown on. Like they have the spring coils or the tires underneath the mat. It's raised up on a platform.
Oh, that's nice.
Bro, you bounce up. I was like, yeah, sure. I get why you guys do judo because it doesn't hurt that much.
Yeah, no, it's definitely very versatile. But on that note, while we're talking about very high-level jiu-jitsu competitors of years past, let's talk about high-level jiu-jitsu competitors of today. We'll do a quick hit on No-Gi Worlds since we're like 2 weeks late on No-Gi. We're probably like 3 weeks late on No-Gi Worlds, but
super late. But it's like the last biggest competition before the break, as we King of Mats and Europeans. But
the cool thing now is that there are so many things that are not just the IBJJF. Just to touch away from that for a second, like Third Coast Grappling was this weekend. I had never even heard of them, but they have Keenan Cornelius headlining.
Yeah.
So it's just
Tex Johnson.
Yeah. Which was sweet. But yeah, what was your biggest takeaway from No-Gi Worlds?
there's a couple of things. Like, one, it was obviously like the Gordon Ryan show, and people turned in to actually watch this. Like, people who wouldn't watch IBJJF events turned in to see him do what he does. A couple other like takeaways from like the Gordon Ryan run to gold, to double gold, if you will, is the fact that like a couple things stood out to me. Is one was the lack of knowledge for the Senkaku position that he used on Yuri Simos, where Yuri kept looking up like, hey, are you going to DQ him yet? Hey, like he kept looking up at the ref as if like, hey, are you going to DQ him? When are you going to DQ him? Can I get that DQ now?
Are you talking about like the inside kind of, not like 50-50, but like the Ashigarami thing they all do?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Where he actually broke that down for the refs beforehand.
He did. Yeah.
Yes.
So he went to the rules meeting before Nogi Pans, which was another tournament that he double golded at.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was cool because he was like, look, I can fight in the IBJJF if I really want to. I can play points jiu-jitsu if I really want to. But he put this whole breakdown. He's like, look, I know I'm going to catch a ton of shit for doing this like cross ride Ashigarami like leg triangle thing, whatever the hell they call it. Like he does that whole like leg pummeling thing. That's his game is so far above and beyond what I can do. It's remarkable. But and he broke the whole thing down. He's like, look, I know I'm going to catch a ton of shit for this, but like this is legal. I just went to the rules meeting. I just went to like a 8-hour seminar on what we're allowed to do in the IBJJF, and this is completely legal.
And I feel like he's insane enough to like sit through the full 8-hour seminar, or however long the seminar really is, and ask the questions that he needs to ask to know how to win.
It's not even insanity. It's just smart. It's just if you're Gordon Ryan and everyone knows who you are and everyone knows that you are this leg lock submission only guy. That's like all you're credited for at this point, which in this point in his career is really dumb because he's proven time and time again he is so far above and beyond that as just a total kind of fighter.
I think he legitimately lives to shut up every single hater, and his biggest negative criticism about him is the fact that he doesn't do IBJJF and he competes against like EBI, other sub-only tournaments where you're not really seeing the best of the best grapplers going out to compete. We saw that when he did the ADCC run. And also, we saw it again. He had really, really high-level competition on both those runs to double gold here at Nogi World. The other point that has to be brought up is the fact that him versus Cyborg was like, it hurt my soul watching that match.
Let's touch on that at the very end because that's a whole rabbit hole of a conversation. But I agree with you in saying that the knock on him that he can't fight in the IBJJF is over because you can't double gold the two biggest no-gi tournaments in the IBJJF and be like, okay, he can't fight in the IBJJF. And even if you watch his fight with, and I'm going to butcher his name because I butcher almost every single Brazilian name of any jiu-jitsu fighter. I think it's Kaynan Duarte.
You got it, bro. Kaynan Duarte.
Kaynan Duarte. All right, I got it. His fight against Kaynan Duarte, you can definitively see that he is playing the points game to get the win. Like, he is mindful of the scoreboard. Obviously, he finished that fight, and it didn't matter, which that fight was amazing. That fight was an incredible, incredible fight. But you can see, he's like, I'm down 4 points. And he gets to the back and secures 4 points, I think, unless I'm remembering this incorrectly. But he gets at least the tie or something to that nature before he ends up winning by rear naked choke.
Yeah.
So he has learned how to play the IBJJF game, which makes sense because, frankly, I mean, the dude got his black belt in like 5 years. He's a freak. My biggest knock on Gordon Ryan at this point, and I think there's two big knocks on him at this point. I have a personal knock against him that I don't know if a lot of other people have it. he's obviously going to catch a ton of flack for not fighting in the gi. He started training in the gi when he had the whole partnership with Hypnotic, which he still does because they're like his main apparel sponsor. And he started training in the gi, and you saw him begin to train in the gi, but he immediately like gave it up. I was like, nah, this sucks. I hate training in the gi. He posted, I think it was on Instagram. I don't know if it was a comment or like something on his story, but he said training in the gi is like having sex with a condom on. It's not nearly as fun, and it takes way longer to do everything.
But I definitely come from his world 100%. I think the biggest reason why he moved away from the gi was due to the fact that he had to start focusing on no-gi world and the various other competitions that is coming up. I think that he'll probably go back to it just so that way he can be like, everyone shut up, I'm good at this.
You know, I don't think he does.
Really?
I don't think he ever puts a gi back on. I think at this point he's more concerned about winning double gold at 80cc and then transitioning into MMA. I think that's what he is much more concerned about. I think if he ever won like a UFC championship, maybe for shits and giggles, he'd throw a gi back on.
Just go back on and just
be like, here's another thing. Maybe I'll try out for like the U.S. Olympic wrestling team. Like maybe I'll try and make it.
Oh my God, we're getting crazy now. We're getting crazy.
No, but I'm saying like his hierarchy, because he's been training MMA. He was training the gi for like a hot second, and then he was like, nah, I want to go back to training MMA. This is way more fun.
Done with this.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So off the Gordon Ryan show for a second, the other big standouts for me were obviously Tim Spriggs, seeing him finally get that gold medal at black belt. That was
you are going to hear the name Tim Spriggs a lot in the next 40 minutes or so that we do this podcast because I love that dude.
Dude is great.
He got absolutely shafted at Fight to Win against Yuri Simões, but he is. I was watching his fight at Fight to Win, and the commentators, as he was getting on the mat, they said, "This dude is active," which is the best way to describe him as a competitor. He is everywhere.
Everywhere, all the time.
He will fight anyone, anywhere. He'll fight in a high school gym. I saw him at the DC Open. Like, he will fight anybody.
Let's put it this way. Not an IBJJF event, not even the DC Open, which is a smaller open. He went to Grappling Industries. And put in work against whoever came out.
Speaking of Grappling Industries, him and Craig Jones have a no time limit, sub-only super fight at none other than Grappling Industries Philadelphia. And, buddy, let me tell you, I am so excited.
Man, definitely going to be there. Definitely going to be there for that. That's what I'm talking about. Like, he is the type of competitor that just goes out everywhere, especially coming off of a few years where he wasn't so active competitively. And I think he even says it himself, where he wasn't training for a while, was focused on other areas of his life, kind of came back in full swing with the jiu-jitsu, and it really shows the fact that he was able to get that gold medal against Jackson Souza in a very, very frustrating match. Even as obviously I'm a big fan of him, and Jackson Souza's been in the game for a hot minute. Watching those two go at it and watching them, going for those takedowns, only getting disadvantages for being on the feet for too long. To see him get that win, that was huge, especially coming from Team Irving, against Jackson Souza. I think the fact that they got the nod on that ref's decision was awesome to see. Really excited to see what he's going to do in the next competition run.
Yeah, man, he's a blast to watch. He's got a fun style to watch too.
Super fun, man. And he's hilarious. Like another podcast I listen to is the BJJ Goons podcast, featuring none other than Tim Spriggs.
Him and DJ are funny. That camp has some sickos in it. They churn out some serious talent.
Dude, Malachi Edmond at Brown Belt. You got that guy. I can't think of his name right now. I only know his Instagram name, The Flash. You have Jordan or Jason Tuck, who's a monster at Brown Belt at the heavier division. So they have a huge team that is always out, especially with us being on the East Coast. We're always seeing them at tournaments.
I mean, I fought in the DC Open. I saw those guys. I mean, they're black belts too. I mean, they have Muhammad Ali, Shane Hill Taylor, DJ. in the
Tim.
women's
Yeah.
division, they have Araya Alexander, who a teammate of mine has fought like multiple times over, and she's
Yeah.
supremely talented. And the cool thing about them, I don't know if you want to say cool or interesting, they don't have like crazy styles of fighting. If you watch some of the Unity guys and some of, these camps that are kind of like more modern teams, and it's not that they don't have a modern style, but they just crush basic stuff in the gi.
Yeah, for a while, every single team leader person would jump to double guard because it's such a dangerous like guard pull. They would jump to the guard pull, then immediately go for left hand sleeve, right
Yep.
hand pant grip,
Yep.
and lift you up and over to get that quick 6 points right
The
there.
6-point sweep is a deadly thing to have in your back pocket, especially
I
in
saw them
point
doing
tournaments.
that. Exactly. I saw them doing that, and I was like, that is genius.
There's a couple 6-point sweeps that I am a huge fan of. I love just like a Kimura hip bump sweep. That's like my
classic
A1 classic. I don't know if it's a scissor sweep. I don't even know what to call it. It's from Spider Guard, where you basically, they're on their knees, you're in Spider Guard, and you take your one foot off the bicep and then kind of chop their one knee.
Oh yeah, classic Spider Guard sweep. I use that all the time.
It's fantastic. Yeah. No one ever expects it either, it's just it's bread and butter stuff.
That's what they get. That's what they get for staying on their knees in Spider Guard. What are you, insane? Are you an insane person?
No, that's an insane person move. That and the Firma sweep. Those are like my 3 favorite 6-pointers.
Another huge standout, obviously, that has to be noted, Gianni Grippo finally getting the gold medal that he's been searching for, especially with that hard fought match. Crazy to see. I'm
a fan of his too.
I'm a fan of him just because I see how hard he works all the time, and like I was always a big fan of his drilling style and his methodology, what he puts into the game. I think it's wonderful to finally see that paying off for sure.
Yeah, I'm a fan of his. I'm excited to see more of Tim Spriggs. It's cool to see guys like Tim Spriggs because he was a guy just working a full-time job at one point. And he's like, I'm trying to juggle training. I'm trying to juggle my full-time job. I'm trying to juggle like my life. And then he's finally cracked through and is like, I am a full-time professional jiu-jitsu fighter, which is hard. And for me, as an active competitor at Purple Belt, it's cool for organizations like Fight to Win that have like started paying lower-level athletes. And I think it's kind of a wake-up call to the IBJJF at this point. It's like, you need to pay us.
Yeah, can you
like,
please?
Maybe like I'm gonna pay $150 to fight in this tournament, and I'm gonna get like a pat on the back and a medal if I. And I'm not saying you need to pay fighters like a ton of money at the lower ranks, but if you win like the New York Open or you win the DC Open or something, you should get some prize money.
Yeah, they should start turning those opens into like pros, where like, you know what I'm saying, where they have like the New York Pro where you get paid a little bit of cash.
I think they all should be like that. I don't think something bothers me about the IBJJF is the double third place. I've explained that to friends of mine that don't do jiu-jitsu, and they're like, that makes absolutely no sense.
Is that guy your friend? No.
Yeah.
He's not my friend.
Yeah, no, that's a weird thing.
You guys should fight to the death.
Yeah, like first and second place, give them like $300. It's like $150 tournament to enter. Give them like $300 if you come in first place. If you're, call it like $200 for Purple Belt, like basically cover your entrance fee and give you some publicity. Like for black belts, they have like the IBJJF Black Belt League, where if you're like Leandro Lowe or Buchacha, you can win like $40,000 at the end of the year. But that's once at the end of the year. You have to fight in like 20 IBJJF tournaments to make that happen.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. That's like a ton of activity. Which I think, like I mentioned earlier, with like these smaller promotions popping up, like guys like Keenan and now like some of the newer generation, like Gianni, who's fought in Kasai and stuff like that. And Kasai's done an amazing job. I'm a huge fan of what those guys have done. like really professional, high quality production value. I think at some point the IBJJF will have to start paying athletes to kind of remain competitive.
They got to do something because the jiu-jitsu is moving in that weird middle point where it's no longer just the hobbyist sport that feeds
No, there are
into
guys that are making a
MMA.
lot of money. Gordon Ryan, back to kind of the Gordon Ryan show, he's probably pulling in at least 6 figures a year on seminars and sponsorships, and now he's his own clothing line, and he's fighting professionally because he fought at Fight to Win. He's technically one of the belt holders in Fight to Win, and at Fight to Win Jersey, they interviewed him. One of the people on the production team was like, "Hey, like, why aren't you? How come you never fight for us anymore? We miss you a lot." And he's like, "You guys just don't pay me enough. Like, I can't." He literally was like, "Yeah, you know, you gotta pay me more." They interviewed
What a
him.
cash at.
Yeah, seriously, his price tag is very high at this point, which is cool because again, I want to see that. I want to see, guys getting paid. It's good. He's 22 years old. He's doing what he loves. He's making a shitload of money. That's awesome.
Dude, 100%. And that's giving all these other competitors an opportunity and option to go that route.
That's the most frightening thing about Gordon Ryan to me is the fact that he's like 22.
As someone who's 30 and a brown belt still, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, right? No, I'm 26. Granted, I haven't been doing jiu-jitsu for that long, but he is 22. Like, that's scary.
All right, cool. Hate my life. Moving on. Last part of Nogi World is a cyborg match with Gordon Ryan. Man.
Yes. Back to Gordon Ryan, that cyborg match. That was weird. That whole thing was weird.
Do you want my thoughts first and then your thoughts, and then we'll kind of hash it out? Because I'm very deep in my thoughts.
My thoughts are pretty cut and dry. I don't know if you have like a unique take on this. Mine are pretty cut and dry.
Hit me with the cut and dry, then I'll give you my spin on it.
My spiel is that Cyborg's point was like, oh, he's disrespectful. He's disrespecting our art. So I was angry, and so that's why this and that. But at the same time, it's like, dude, he's a kid. You guys are in a fight. And I kind of like Gordon Ryan playing the villain. Like this kind of pro wrestling style where he's like taking on this villain role and he's generating this buzz as, he's welcoming the hate, which I kind of like. And for Cyborg just to play, like the pro wrestling, like Ric Flair was like the classic, like smarmy heel.
I'm waiting for him to get a pair of like gaiters and start showing up
to
tournaments.
Showing up because in like a mink coat. Like it's just like he's the villain. Like he's embraced the fact that people cannot stand him.
The average Joe who like only believes in like black and white, good versus evil, no nuance to anything, doesn't understand that Gordon Ryan outside of Instagram or outside of anything has nothing but the best reputation and is known as one of the nicest, most humble guys in the world. He is just making his money. That's all it is. But continue on. Yeah.
Again, back to kind of the money he's making with social media and his clothing line and this and that. He's generated so much buzz for himself through all that. And again, it's like, Cyborg's probably not doing the amount of seminars and pulling in sponsorship money like Gordon Ryan is. And there's a reason. It's because he's very good at the marketing side of all that. And some of that is him being just kind of a dickhead. And
people love it.
I love it. There is one thing I don't love about Gordon Ryan's, like, my haters are my motivators kind of spiel. And it's that he is seemingly very self-conscious.
Yes.
In the sense that he's like, he cares about what random like blue belts on Instagram say about him. Like, if you look at the comment sections on his posts, he is responding to every single person that's like, dude, you suck. You didn't beat Felipe Pena, like this, that, which is really the only knock on him competitively at this point is that he has not beaten Felipe Pena.
Exactly.
Like
And he had that one.
he had an unreal 80cc run in 2017, loses to the heavier guy in the absolute. And people are like, "Oh, you suck! You can't beat Felipe Pena." It's like, dude, I beat everybody else on earth.
A lot of people can't beat Felipe Pena, bro.
Yeah,
Like
he flies under the radar as like one of the best competitors alive right
ever,
now.
yeah.
Which I don't really.
When he got his arm completely like torn, jacked up, that was the reason why he was out for so long after Worlds. Went on to win, and I think it was with Herbo Santos. Took his back and got the points to win the match. Insanity, man.
Yeah,
With the completely jacked arm.
yeah, but
My thoughts on it, man. So not even looking at who Gordon is as a competitor. Like if you wanted to turn it into a fight, man. Cyborg just got off a match where he spammed 3 to 4 different suplexes. Bring that kind of pressure if you want to teach this kid a lesson, or teach him not to disrespect culture, or disrespect people's girlfriends, which is obviously a joke. And as someone who lives and dies by humor, if you can't take a joke, bro, I don't want to be your friend.
yeah, if
But
you can't tolerate someone being like, all the women love me. Again, it's like the
yeah,
Ric Flair thing where he's
yeah,
like, I'm the limousine driving, fur coat wearing, gator shoe walking, chick stealing, wheeling dealing. Woo! Like,
we
if
get
you
the two
can't tolerate
class.
that in a combat sport, it's like, come on, like, grow up. Like, just
And
like,
on top of it, the guy like Cyborg, I expect much more because he's like a kind of a hero in the sport. He's someone people look up to, and to just not engage and I don't really think the hand slaps were too aggressive. I think by the end of the 10 minutes, he definitely was frustrated. And this is what I think actually happened. He realized he couldn't pass Gordon's guard without getting submitted. Was very frustrated with that, and this whole idea of the dynamic of, I was teaching him a lesson. I was doing this, I was doing that. I think it was more so the reality of the situation is throughout the guard, he had an idea throughout the match. He had an idea that he would be able to pass the guard or engage in his own guard, but was never able to get anything actively going. So he took the whole aggressive like hand slapping or head slapping approach, and then came out 2 days later with like, oh, it's because I wanted to teach him a lesson. Yo, the best way I get taught a lesson, especially if I, maybe a joke goes too far during training, or me and a guy have like, I don't know, maybe we like butt heads a little bit too much on the team. We go after it. We try and
yeah,
beat the
tear it up.
crap out of each other.
Tear it up.
Not like pick and choose random like half guard passing entries. But yeah, that's kind of my final thoughts on it. Is just like, I was kind of disappointing to see, and I think it really cemented Gordon as the number one name to talk about, even in IBJJF. And as a guy who doesn't really compete in IBJJF outside of Nogi, that says a lot about the level of our sport and the nature of our sport right now, where all the eyes are on this one kid, as opposed to all the other amazing grapplers, because they don't know how to market themselves and
Yeah,
don't know. And I mean, obviously, you don't have to be like a huge trash talker. You don't have to be like that. You can be kind of do like the Bernardo Faria side of it, where he just like partners with anybody and everybody, does an amazing technique video, and is like the happiest guy to do it. Like that's
yeah,
where he's got his name on it. So there's many different avenues where you can kind of follow that through. So
yeah.
it
Speaking
just goes to say that, yeah,
back to Tim Spriggs, he's a guy who's figured it out too. He's got the social
exactly.
media presence. He's, he like, it's unfortunate. And I texted you the other day. I was like, dude, I got to delete my Instagram for like a month. Like, I just got to get off this app. It's so time draining. But it's also like one of those things where it's like guys that are doing really well at this sport are using it as a moneymaker. And I'm actually sort of going to take a page out of, again, Tim Spriggs' book for this, because he recently on one of his like Q&As, he's like, yeah, I use Instagram a ton for promotion, but when I was like purple belt, brown belt, like not as well known of a competitor, my first step was just to kill it. And then people are like, who's this guy, Tim Spriggs? Like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where's this guy coming from?
His main claim to fame at that time was like he trained with Keenan. He was Keenan Cornelius' main training partner. Yo,
Yeah,
that's a
at Team Lloyd Irvin.
yeah. You
When
don't want to
Keenan
be in
was a
that
Lloyd
shadow.
Irvin guy.
Yeah,
That feels like a lifetime ago. That was before I even started jiu-jitsu that he left.
that's insane
Lloyd
to me. That's because I was pretty active in jiu-jitsu during that that time. It was insane. But
my start in jiu-jitsu was very much kind of weird.
you kind of just told me you like trained for a couple of years and now you're a purple belt. But, like, what brought you into jiu-jitsu?
So I wrestled growing up, which has been a huge impact, I will say, on my competitive. I think that is part of the reason why I've had, not to toot my own horn, a good amount of success as a competitor. Because my takedown game on my feet is a lot better than a lot of guys who just start out in jiu-jitsu and who pick up the competitive pieces and are like, I want to compete, I want to do this. It's just I have another kind of tool in the belt that guys that start out in jiu-jitsu with no other combat sports experience have to add in. And sometimes, yeah, and like that evens out when you get to purple belt. So I've started competing against guys. Now guys that compete against, rarely are they like easy to take down. I fought the number 7 ranked kid in the IBJJF, and he tore my ass apart, but he pulled guard too. So it was like within like 3 seconds, I was like, okay, I am where I want to be, kinda, except he was doing sweeps on, like I'm like having like traumatic flashbacks to the DC Open because I got my ass beat so bad by this kid.
I remember the post after the DC Open, and I was like, bro, it's your first time at purple belt, really?
No, I mean, I wasn't that broken up about it, but like I got off the mat and I was like looking at my coach like laughing, and he was laughing at me too because he knew I was like fine.
Yeah.
I was losing 26-0 and got submitted.
Oh, bro, you can't let the points rack up like that. Take the sub.
Some kid, Lloyd Irvin posted this on his Instagram. Some kid lost 42-0 in an IB. Like, I don't even know how that's possible.
I would. Oh, that's hard, man.
I don't know how you. That, I will say, I think is a flaw in the IBJJF format. You can ring up points without really progressing the match to a point where you're going to get a submission.
Yeah.
You can throw like 6-point sweeps over and over and over again. And like you can 6-point sweep me and get to mount, and then I can get my guard back. And then you can pass my guard, get knee on belly, get mount, get my back, and then just like ring up points.
You let the other individual escape.
Right.
That way you're able to rack up those points. You can literally let's do the 6-point sweep spam. Like, you pull 6-point sweep, you let them you let them regain guard, you start going for the guard pass, let them turtle, both of you guys stand up, boom, spam it again.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
so
crazy.
I think there's a flaw in that.
Right. There's no threat in the match actually ending at any point. It's more so there is the disconnect of you being able to finish and mount.
Yeah, I think at some point, and I'll get off this subject real quick, but I think at some point they should just say, okay, like, you swept him, you got knee on belly, you got mount, you took their back, and somehow, like, if I get back to my guard, I don't really think you should be able to rack up that scoring sequence again.
I kind of been thinking of the same thing where almost like there's a max amount of this.
But like, if we get back up to my feet or something, I get back up to my feet and I score a takedown, and then you sweep me again, that's fair game. But if I'm still in the defensive position the whole time and you're just like kind of spamming points on me, like you said, and that makes sense in the context of wrestling. Like I said, I grew up wrestling. And wrestling is very much a sport with a given set of guidelines. But jiu-jitsu is a martial art, and it's more focused on the end game. Like, yes, it started as a self-defense martial art, but the sort of the critical mass is submission. That's the end game for fighting. So if you're just racking up points, that doesn't really jive with that idea, and I think that's kind of where this like no Nutella, like everyday pajada kind of thing started. Maybe not so much.
I'm more of that hashtag every other day pajada type of situation.
I can't train I can train like 4 days a week because I want to lift, I want to run, and if I try like lifting 4 days a week, training 4 days a week, like getting a run in, doing yoga or something, my body eventually, like I won't wake up in the morning. Like I'll wake up at like 11 in the morning.
Yeah, we're kind of at that point now. Like with that, by the end of the week, that's kind of where I'm at too myself. Like when it comes to where I'm feeling after like a good 10 days straight of training. All right, man. So looking at Europeans coming up,
Europeans.
Who do you think is going to be noteworthy?
So I'm looking at the list of competitors. I'll give you some quick predictions. I'll also give you some faces I'm bummed I'm not going to see. So black belt roosterweight. I'm not going to go through the masters. Sorry, old guys. Sorry, Shane.
They don't matter anymore. I know.
Yeah, no, you're old. You're a fossil.
Don't matter
it's
anymore.
Just the way it is. I'm getting there. I'm getting close to being a master. But
it's glorious.
Roosterweight. I don't really know enough about all these guys to give a prediction, but I'm pulling for Christian Woodmansee from Roots, Philly guy. He's in the Roosterweight black belt division. Pulling for that guy. Obviously, they're sort of like a little crosstown rival, but you know, to my knowledge, he's the only Philly guy in the Roosterweight division. So go Christian.
Got to go Philly, right? It's not same. I totally agree. Like he's a killer, one of the killers at Autos for such a long time, and for him to come back to Philly, I think it was really cool for the Philly scene, and it'll be cool to see what he's able to do on a grand stage. Not being able to train at a place like Autos, I think will say a lot, but we'll see what kind of impact that actually makes with him.
And so he's not really in the competitive gym scene. They have some good competitors there, but it's not like Autos. Yeah. He was another guy that was in the Lloyd Irving camp. And now he's
mass
a teacher.
Exodus.
Now he's a professor. So his whole role is different. So I'm pulling for him. I want to see him on the medal stand. And
totally. And honestly, he's been training with he's been able to train at Beach Day United as well.
That's another very good Philly camp.
Yeah, you guys in your Philly gyms are crazy.
It's a good scene, man. It's where it all started on the East Coast, man.
I've had some of my hardest training over in Philly. Shout out to Maxercise.
I think we're probably the second best city to do jiu-jitsu in on the East Coast, save for New York. I mean, New York is just the gyms are sick up there, and you're part of the Marcelo Association. I trained at Marcelo's a couple times. I love training up there.
Going to Marcelo, very, very welcoming, very awesome vibe.
Very welcoming.
Also, I never felt like I've almost died so many times in training. When training there.
Yeah. Scary white belts up there. But my next prediction at light feather, this is a cool division. João Miao, I think I said that right again. I'm going to butcher every single Brazilian name I say here. The other Miao that isn't Paulo, the J Miao. I want to see, and obviously I don't know what the bracket looks like right now, but they're both in this division. I want to see Kennedy Maciel, young Cobrinha, if you will, against Paulo's brother Miao at some point. I hope it's in the finals. That's my fingers crossed. I don't know what the bracket looks like right now. That's my fingers crossed, though.
Yeah. Kennedy versus Joao would be awesome.
And I'm taking Kennedy. I'm taking Kennedy to win the gold here.
The younger, less broken human being, I think, has a better shot at it.
Yes. Although I will say, and granted, this isn't no-gi, there's no heel hooks, but there are footlocks. I don't know what it is about the Meows, but they are seemingly immune to any type of leg lock where your ankle/knee ligaments would be compromised. I don't understand it. I've watched them get footlocked, and like the arch of their foot is like against the inside of their calf, and they're just like not even flinching. I don't get it. It sort of makes me sick to my stomach as someone that's torn every single ligament in both of their ankles. So
no, totally. That's one of the craziest things ever is that ability to just let it break. They have the worst severe ligament damage. It's crazy.
Yeah, like Romulo Bahal in Worlds that one year was like, you know what? I really want to advance, and I'm just gonna let my ankle break, and hopefully win this fight 5 points. Moving on to feather. Alliance guy Isaac Doderline, I believe is how you pronounce it.
Dandelion,
Paulo is in there. Those are the two names that are sticking out. And my dark horse in this is Cole Franson. He has been tearing it up recently. And I don't know if I'm going to go with a dark horse pick and say Cole Franson wins. I think you're going to see Paulo on the medal stand. I want to see him fight Cole Franson because Cole Franson's been tearing it up, and I like what he's all about. And obviously, as a dirty gringo, I need to root for the American in this bracket.
Paul's going to take it. I think Paul's going to take it 100%.
Lightweight. Oh, this is lightweight. Oh, this is a good one. So we have your boy Gianni Grippo, who I'm excited to watch. Lucas Lepre, who has not fought in the IBJJF in quite some time, if my knowledge is correct.
I think he missed last year's competition scene.
Then we have some of these guys coming over from Finland who've been tearing it up. There's some more in the heavier divisions. Tommy Polkinen.
Mm-hmm.
My pick here is Gianni. I'm taking Gianni to win. I want to see Gianni fight Lucas Lepre real bad. I would love to see that fight. Those are some dream matchups right there. Middleweight. Another Alliance guy. I'm going to butcher his name. Isaac Banis.
Oh, no. Isaac Bahanis. He was actually just at King of Mats.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else at King of Mats and Europeans.
I think Hudson Mateus is going to be doing it, and I think one other individual.
I was getting to his name soon because I am a big fan of that dude. Might have the best closed guard in jiu-jitsu right now, and I think he's like 21.
No way. He looks like he's like 35 years old.
He's the king of the jiu-jitsu pose, like the arms as wide as you possibly can with your traps and necks flexed with your head rocked back.
Where you don't actually hold your arms.
Yeah, if we were as savvy as Joe Rogan, I would have this up on like a video board right now. The meows are probably honorable mention, but Hudson's much bigger, so it looks great on him. Like when he does it, his lats are out to like his elbows, and he's just his eyes are pointed at the sky, and his neck is extremely wide. So
body's comprised of mainly like 75% neck.
I think Isaac takes that one real easy, but I will say my two dark horses here, which is going to bring me on to a quick sidebar because they're on the same team. Espen Matheson and Tommy Langaker.
Also, they also just did King of Mats as well.
Did they?
Yeah.
I canceled my Flow Grappling subscription because I'm poor right now. So
I noticed, bro.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You definitely tried to log into my account. My Flow Grappling account. If anyone is listening to this and you have my Flow Grappling password, I'm sorry, but I am just really broke right now. So it'll come back. I'll send out a mass text when it's back. Quick sidebar, since Tommy Langaker and Espen Matheson are on the same team. Closeouts. Big problem to me.
Don't ever do it.
It really bugs me. I don't get it.
You should have to fight to the death. What a lot of other gyms do, they also do this thing where they have the in-house tournament before the major tournaments, and then that decides who closes it out.
Kind of like a wrestle-off.
Yeah,
but who's like the varsity guy. But it's also
exactly.
Like, you guys fight in the room, and you probably tear it up in the room. Like, I've gotten, not like into it, but you know, like you catch like a knee in the face, or you catch an elbow in the face from someone, you guys will start tearing it up. You're just like, we'll be fine afterwards, but for the next 6 minutes, the next 4 minutes, whatever it is, we're gonna hurt each other. And it's just like, again, you're teammates and you shake it off, but I don't know why you can't fight on a big stage if you're teammates. And I understand maybe it's like you don't want to show that one guy's better than the other. Maybe you don't want to leave too much. Maybe it's a strategy thing. I think this goes more back to like the respect in jiu-jitsu, the respect of like honor your teammate, honor your opponent, but I don't like it. I think it's weird. And it's also,
No,
it takes
agreed.
away the opportunity for one guy to like win a fight.
No,
If
I
you're
totally
like
agree. Just let it
if you're
go. Yeah,
closing
yeah.
out in the semifinals to go to the gold medal match, you're like robbing one of these guys of the opportunity.
Same with the bye. Same with the bye as well.
Yeah. So I'm gonna take Isaac in that one. I want to see him fight Tommy Langaker because that's gonna be a good one. Going down, and then we'll hear all your picks.
I got Derek O'Connell, man. That's going to be solid. And as well as Andres Bernauskas from Atos.
Yeah. Claudio Callison's back in the middle heavy division. Lucas Barbosa, Hudson Mateos. Those are the names that are jumping off the page. I really want to see Hulk Barbosa against Hudson Mateos.
Yeah.
Atos
Well, I mean,
versus
it's Hudson.
that's a...
Dude, it's Hudson versus Claudio for the first fight on Match.
Is it really? Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. I hate when shit like that happens. I'm taking
right at the
Hudson
beginning
over that. I mean, he's just so young and so good. I mean, Claudio Callison's is really good, but I mean, I'm going to take youth in that one.
No, agreed. I mean, even when you move up to the moving up to the adult heavy, you got Jackson.
Who's
Souza,
your pick over
Barbosa
or Hudson if they face off?
Ooh, Barbosa. I think he's been on too
Barbosa,
much of a tear.
He's one of the
insane.
best.
He's insane right now.
Yeah, no gi. He's terrifying.
And as a fatter dude, I'm totally more excited about anything heavy and up. You got like heavy as Jackson
fought in
Souza.
heavy before. That's not a fun division to fight in. I weighed in for heavy like 9 pounds underweight, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a long day.
Oh, you messed up there, brother.
I couldn't make 195. I was like 201 in the gi, and I was just like too far off from 195. But I want to see Jackson Souza versus Kanan. That's the fight I want to see. I think Kanan is getting better and better and better. You're going to see him. I don't think he falls below second place. I think he makes the finals. I think Adam Wardzinski will be on the medal stand.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to be the other guy on third place, but I think you see Wardzinski third, Jackson Souza second, and Kanan in first. That's my clearest cut prediction there.
100% agree. Yeah.
And then
totally agreed.
I don't know enough about these heavy guys. We could get into the ladies, heavy. But we could get into is Bia Mosquito fighting in the ladies division? I don't think she is. Unfortunately.
Why are you scared? I didn't even check.
Yeah, no. The ladies divisions are all so small, unfortunately. There's only one. None of the ladies divisions are bigger than 4 people for the adults, which kind of sucks. But all right, give me your quick picks. Go run down the weights. Give me your quick picks.
For the ladies?
No, for the men.
Oh. So for even in super heavy, there's not even a lot of people I even know.
That's my problem.
Yeah, and for me, if you look at ultra heavy, that's kind of where I'm a little bit more interested in, to be honest.
Ultra heavy's open, which is weird to me because I don't understand why you have an open weight division and then absolute.
Yeah,
there should be a weight limit on ultra heavy.
As someone who fights in that division, I totally agree. It bums me out so much.
It should at least be like 250 or like 265. Yeah. Like make it high, but put a limit on it.
I'm walking around at 230 and hating life.
Yeah, so you got to get down to 300. You got to get down to super heavy.
It's the story of my entire jiu-jitsu journey. And then, looking at super heavy, just real quick, the one notable name that I'm excited to see is James Popolo from Ribeiro, your boy.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome to see how far he goes through these brackets. But
Felipe Silva from Zenith could be another good one.
Yeah. And then, you look at ultra heavy, the main people that really stick out for me are like Tanner, obviously.
I'm surprised he's that big. I saw him at Pans.
He doesn't ever look that big.
He never, I don't know if he just hates cutting weight. He does not look like he's more than 225 pounds.
No, he's just probably, maybe he doesn't like cardio.
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't look. I mean, he's a big dude. He doesn't look that big though. He's like kind of lanky.
No, yeah.
I would expect him to be in super heavy,
Super
like
heavy.
with Keenan.
But maybe here's the thing: goes up to ultra heavy since none of the other names are really stand out like gold medalers. Goes up, takes that quick win. You know what I mean? Like takes the easier
maybe it's
road
like
to gold.
maybe it's like a world's points thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, a couple guys I'm disappointed not to see. Again, Tim Spriggs, guy that he's just been super active.
I think you're going to see this since this is the kickoff of like the IBJJF run. You're going to see a lot of slower starts.
Yeah,
but
a lot of guys probably saving it for Worlds that have already like qualified for Worlds that are just saving it for Worlds.
Exactly, but in an effort to keep this thing under an hour, I think we should wrap it up. Because
I know we definitely had
getting close there.
Yeah, we definitely had some stuff that we missed, but we can get to that next time.
But save it for next time.
Yeah, give me your quick pick on the light feather division, Joao or Kennedy. You think Kennedy takes it?
I think Kennedy does take it. Yeah.
Do you think your boy Gianni Grippo takes that division? Takes the light division.
Man. I would really, really hope so.
Do you think that, and you think Hulk wins medium heavy?
I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be.
Do you think Kanan wins heavy?
I think Kanan definitely does win heavy, but it's going to be hard against Kanan, Claudio. No, that's the other division. But yeah, I think Kanan does win that. And I think James Poplo medals on super heavy, but I don't know about winning it. And I think Tanner Rice wins ultra heavy for sure.
Cool. Yeah. No, this was our maiden voyage. This was. We'll get better at the podcast thing for
questionable audio.
Questionable audio. Maybe I'll get like an actual microphone. For the 6 people that might listen to this, one of them probably like being my mom, she'll understand maybe like 3 minutes of this whole thing. We will get better. We will improve. We will build. But yeah, so this was an interesting maiden voyage.
I'm glad we were able to finally do it.
There's a 99% chance that we have an hour-long audio file that we can't even upload to like SoundCloud.
That's my biggest. That's 100% my biggest fear.
Yeah, no, it's a very real possibility, but we'll figure it out. Who cares?
Yeah, for sure.
We'll be shooting up the leaderboards with the Pardon My Takes and the Joe Rogans in no time. We'll be taking down Flow Grappling. They'll be sweating.
That's gonna be the number one thing.
Who are these 2 random guys? But anyway, this was fun. We'll do it again. Hopefully, we can do it in another week, or we'll definitely do a Europeans wrap up. And
we'll do a recap, and we'll definitely make sure to mention the ladies, since we did not touch on that at all. And
I want to touch on the ladies, but there's so many names I'm unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
I'm just looking down the list. Bianca Basilio is one of them that I know. Luisa Montero, but she's in a 2-person division. She's going to take that. Nefili De Jesus, is that how you say that? She's in a 2-person division. She's going to tear that apart. And that's really all I know. Tayan Porfirio is not in this. I would pick her to beat like literally anyone on earth because she's terrifyingly huge for a woman. I think she could tear apart some guys in the men's division because she's so strong and so talented. But yeah, I just don't know a lot of these ladies, unfortunately, which is a bummer. But no Bia Mosquito, which bums me out because she's nasty. I think she's focused on no-gi right now, so that makes a little more sense. But all right, brother, we'll wrap up. We'll do a Europeans recap next time, and we will talk about some other stuff. Back to real quick hit back on the Cyborg Gordon Ryan thing. I want to talk combat jiu-jitsu, since that was like a little breath of combat jiu-jitsu. And I know we want to talk about some seminars upcoming, some super fights upcoming. So that's where we're going next week, everybody.
All right, we're out.
We're out. I will see you later, sir.
Later, brother.